Assalamu alaikum guys, you are watching Parina batool NAZISH in the series of lectures of international relations. We will discuss the Wilson's 14 points. During the lecture of the World War I, we have given the reference of Wilson's 14 points. Basically, the Wilson was the president of the US. Let's discuss its background. During World War I, he has given these 14 points, and he was US President Woodrow Wilson, and he has given the policy towards the World War I. Before the 1918, US was not the part of the World War I, but due to few incidents, the US has entered the World War I. Woodrow Wilson gave his 14 points on January 8, 1918. These 14 points were the guiding principles for the world regarding the World War I. Let's discuss these 14 points. Point 1. He says that open convenance of peace openly arrived at, after which there shall be no private international understandings of any kind, but diplomacy shall proceed always frankly in the public view. According to point 2, absolute freedom of navigation upon the seas outside territorial waters, alike in peace and in wars, except as the seas may be closed in whole or in part by international actions for the enforcement of international convenience. Point 3. He says that the removal, so far as possible, of all economic barriers and the establishment of an equality of trade conditions among all the nations consenting to the peace and associating themselves for its maintenance. Point 4. He says that adequate guarantees given and taken that national armaments will be reduced to the lowest point consistent with domestic safety. Point 5. He says that a free, open-minded and absolutely impartial adjustment of all colonial claims based upon a strict observance of the principle that in determining all such questions of sovereignty, the interest of the populations concerned must have equal weight with the equitable claims of the government whose title is to be determined. Point 6. He says that the evocation of all Russian treaty and such a settlement of all questions affecting Russia as will secure the best and freest cooperation of the other nations of the world in obtaining for her an unhampered and unembraced opportunity for the independent determination of her own political development and national policy, and assure her of a sincere welcome into the society of free nations under the institutions of her own choosing, and more than a welcome assistance also of every kind that she may need and may herself desire. The treatment accorded Russia by her sister nations in the months to come will be the acid test of their goodwill, of their comprehension of her needs as distinguished from their own interest, and of their intelligent and unselfish sympathy. Point 6. He says that Belgium, the whole world will agree, must be evacuated and restored, without any attempt to limit the sovereignty which she enjoys in common with all other free nations. No other single act will serve as this will serve to restore confidence among the nations in the laws which they have themselves set and determined for the governments of their relations with one another. Without this healing act, the whole structure and validity of international law is forever impaired. Point 8. He says that all French territory should be freed and the invaded portions restored, and the wrong done to France by Prussia in 1871 in the matter of Alaska Lorne, which has unsettled the peace of the world for nearly 50 years, should be righted in order that peace may once more be made secure in the interest of all. Point 9. He says that a readjustment of the frontiers of Italy should be effected along clearly recognizable lines of nationality. Point 10. He says that the people of Austria Hungary would place among the nations who wish to see safeguard and assured, should be accorded the freest opportunity of autonomous development. Point 12. He says that the Turkish portions of the present Ottoman Empire should be assured a secure sovereignty, but the other nationalities which are now under Turkish rule should be assured an undoubted security of life and an absolutely unmolested opportunity of autonomous development. And the dreadnoughts should be permanently opened as a free passage to the ships and commerce of all nations under international guarantees. Point 13. An independent Polish state should be erected, which should include the territories inhabited by indisputably Polish populations, which should be assured a free and secure access to the sea, and whose political and economic independence and territorial integrity should be guaranteed by international covenant. Point 14. He says that a general association of nations must be formed under specific covenants for the purpose of affording mutual guarantees of political independence and territorial integrity to great and small states alike. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos. This channel provides a series of lectures on international relations and gender studies and many other subjects. Subscribe for yourself.